We are living on a script that we didn't write in the first place, and I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that in this video. So stick on to the end because it's gonna be dope. Hey folks, my name is Alex. This is Alflex Fitness Podcast. So the information that I just displayed in the beginning of this video, those are the words of John D. Rockefeller, the man who initiated the education system, the man who funded the system in its early stages. And you have to understand very well that the system was rigged in the first place. That is a matter of fact that you have to understand simply because we are living on a script. We are living on someone's script that was written for us to follow, so that at the end of the day, they end up to gain control over us. And that is something that a lot of people don't seem to understand, simply because that is how the world operates, and it is already disguised, and it is very hard for you to just look and see where the trap is. So all these things, all these stories that we were being told, that when you go to school you get a good job, then after you get a good job or such kind of a thing, you have a good, you get a good wife or a good family or such, then you settle, maybe you build your own house or have a mortgage or something. All these things, everything that we were being told, go to school and don't know, all these things were formulated in a way that they are trying to cap you from your potential, from your full potential. They're trying to cap you from who you are meant to be in the first place. For instance, look at this. The story of going to school and such kind of a thing. First of all, do you even want to go to school in the first place? As a parent, do you understand the desire of your child, or you're just taking him or her to school? Just go to school, go. And that is, first of all, the major problem, not questioning what is happening, Without questioning, if you can't question, at the end of the day, you won't get to understand what is going on. And that is why a lot of people are just in the system, just blindly, without understanding what is happening. Simply because this script that we were fed, we were not taught how to question it. We were not taught how to get out of it, Because look at this, from the beginning, when you were young, this system started infiltrating your brain, simply because at that moment your mind is like a blank state, whereby is in its blank state, whereby it can be overwritten by anybody, And for instance, the issues with what are this LGBTQ and this kind of bullshit that was happening, they were trying by all means to advertise these things to people, simply because they know very well that they can easily overwrite your mind if the information is not yet available. They can easily occupy your mind with a new information. That is why they were trying to bring about this thing. They were trying to legalize it or such kind of a thing. The same thing that is normally happens with whenever you get born, or you are young as a child. They start indoctrinating you, because they know very well that when they take the child away from the parent, the parent don't have that chance to train their children the way they are supposed to be as human beings. Maybe to chase their dreams. They are not empowered. They are not guided by discipline or such kind of a thing. They are just sent to school, and the teacher is all responsible of everything else. And the teacher is running a script whereby he doesn't do what he's not told to do. See? And that ends up that 18 years down the line, that child out of the schooling system is just a slave in the system, simply because the system have taken him or her away from the parents and just manipulated that child to be the way they want him or her to be. They manipulated the way of thinking, so that when you come out here in the world, your only way of thinking is just looking for a job, paying off your mortgages, paying off your taxes, and then at the end of the day, having a good family, or maybe having a mortgage or such kind of a thing. Then you work, and one day, hopefully one day you will get rich and such. That's a system that were fed simply because it was from the beginning, and the reason as to why this thing is very hard to remove. The reason as to why this thing is very hard to get away from is this. From your childhood, that is the only thing you have been fed. And you might think that after you get old enough, they stop indoctrinating you or something. I'm here to tell you, no. They don't stop. They never stop. They never will. They constantly continue to push the information they want to push to you. And because they know very well that your mind is gullible enough, at the end of the day, they molded it to be gullible in the first place. Because look at this. In the schooling system, they told you, you have to obey, you have to listen. You are being watched. We are watching what you are doing, and if you fail, we punish you. If you don't do what we tell you to do, we punish you. They know very well that they made your mind gullible enough when you are young, and that way, when you are older, they can easily continue to manipulate and control your mind, or such kind of a thing, all your decisions, or such. And that is why you see things like a lot of entertainment going on. You see things like a lot of garbage things being pushed on social media, a lot of pornographic sites just thriving, and they don't care. They simply don't care, simply because they know very well these are tools. A lot of drugs are still being sold and such kind of a thing, because they know very well that if we eliminate these things, at the end of the day, we lose the control of an adult, simply because when you are an adult, it can be, yes, honestly speaking, it can be hard to be controlled. But at the end of the day, with these vices, they can easily distract you from what you are supposed to be doing. You see? And that is what I'm saying. A lot of things come through from addictions, from entertainments, from the movies, everything. All these things are formulated. They are all formulated to ensure that you don't go to your purpose. You don't face who you are meant to be. You don't face your challenges. You don't solve what is going on in your life, simply because you are constantly being fed with things that are not making sense. Have you ever been on social media or such kind of things, or on screens, watching some bullshit on screens and such, and you don't feel like you are a human being? I felt like that several times, when I'm like, you scroll for hours, and then in your heart, you don't feel normal. Technically speaking, you don't feel like this is okay, this is not okay, bro. You don't feel like you're doing something constructive. You don't feel the joy of doing something hard. Your sense of your your state of mind is being eroded by these bullshit screens and such. Have you ever felt such kind of a thing? That is what I'm talking about, folks. They have been trying by all means to ensure that they retain control of our brains, by all means possible, because they know very well that if we start focusing on what really matters, making money, becoming successful, building businesses, and such kind of a thing, if we focus on those, then at the end of the day, they lose control of us. And they know very well that the only way of doing that, of putting you under control, or under constant control, is to feed you the system over and over again, even if it means to your deathbed, even if it means the death of your dreams. They don't care. They simply don't care, and that is all it is. So you have to understand that very well, and you have to sit down with yourself and just know what you want with your life, and just look deep into what you want with your life, simply because if you don't, at the end of the day, they will still feed you, because the mind cannot be accommodated by a vacuum. It always seeks information every now and then, making decisions, buying things, or such kind of a thing. All these decisions from our minds. Our minds cannot stay dormant, you know. They can't. They simply can't. If you want to experiment this, just go out there without a phone, without anything. Just out there in nature and just sit. You will see. Your mind will constantly be pushing you to think, what am I going to do next? Okay, what am I seeing? You know, it is trying to figure out what is happening now. You see, and that is why I'm telling you, you have to train yourself to fill your mind with what you want, with the dreams, with the ambitions, with the purpose that God gave us. That is the only way we can be free from the system. And that is all it is, folks. So I don't have much to say. I don't have much to add. Just go there and just think. Stop distracting yourself with all this garbage of the system and such. This is just a top quote of this topic, simply because I haven't yet researched so much. This is my first project that I'm doing, and I want to do it in a very different way, and that is why I shot like this, in a very different way, to see what happens. So bear with me. So I hope to see you in the next one, because this one is gonna be dope. See you in the next one. Subscribe down there. Thank you so much. Adios.